green programming. Is that a thing? You know, the energy consumption of stuff. Should I turn off my light? Should I not be on YouTube? Should I not record this video? Is my computer CPU now requiring more power because I actually have my mic and my recording device on? Well, the thing is, everything requires some sort of power, and programming languages also require power. Now, first of all, what is a programming language? Now, a programming language is a piece of a language that you can write something in and get another program to interpret that, and depending on which kind of paradigm you are in, either scripting or programming, you're either going to be in scripting that's interpreted, or you're going to be in programming that is compiled. Now, there's a sweet spot in between and all that good stuff, but this video is really not about all the technicalities of programming languages. Now, I really want to talk about what is the greenest language and how should we kind of take that, because with all the new prices of electricity and all this talking about we have to be more green in society, not having that much pollution, it definitely means that our computers, and since the world is really heavily based on computers, really need to do as little as possible. So how can we make our computers work less? Okay, so in this video I'm going to talk about that. First of all, I'd like to say that this video is about the research paper you can find here. It was conducted back in 2017, you can see right here, 2017, and for the Association for Computer Machinery in Vancouver, Canada. Now, you should be more than, welcome to redo the study if you have something to prove. I believe what this paper tells is genuine, and I do understand that some of you might be skeptical about it, but that is the way it is. Research is research. They told you how they did it, and you can read about the methods and stuff like that, and you can just redo the experiment. It's not really that hard, it just requires some time and read the paper, understand it, and you know how to do it. Anyways, let's get started with this video about what is the greenest programming language. Now, we talked about what the greenest programming language should be. It's a programming language that should consume less power, energy, right? So I'm going to scroll down a bit. This is the article on medium.com that actually uses that research article right here, or the paper, and from that they talk about it. Now, I would like to say that when you have most new programmers these days, they are being told to probably choose between like JavaScript, Python, Java, C# or any other language, right? So that could be Node.js. It could be Go. It could be basically anything. Now, the problem from choosing different languages is that actually they are different in power consumption. And you might think, so what is the most power consuming language? What should I not choose if you wish to be more green minded in the society these days? Make sure that the machinery we are using is using less power, the minimum amount of power used, actually also less pollution, right? So then you should definitely think about this. So let's scroll down a bit, and they do talk about the abstract and stuff like that, and how the ranking is and the energy. So the first of all says, from this table it's worth noting that C and C++ and Java are among the languages that consume the least amount of energy. So if you learn Java on an education, or C or C++, you should definitely take those languages and continue using those, because they are really good and really green. On the other hand, JavaScript consumes almost twice as much as Java and 4 times what C consumes. Now, JavaScript is a language that commonly used to be running in the browser, something you can, manipulate the browser elements from the web page you see, so you can make them more dynamic and lively and stuff like that. Now, stuff like Python needs more time to execute, and it is therefore one of the least green languages. Now, that might be a, when I talk about this to people, they usually go like, wow, Python, is that really, but it's so good language, so many jobs, it's a beautiful language, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but it is the least green language. Let me show you how much energy. Now this is the unit, so the unit 1 is considered as the least amount for C, and if you scroll down a bit here, you can see that Python is actually down below, using 75.88 more power than C programming. Now if our educations in Denmark, where I'm from, commonly would just stick to the top 5, so you had Java, ADA, C++, Rust, and C, that would be really good. Now, I wouldn't really say that learning stuff like C# would be a bad idea, or Go, but if you're gonna go down the racket here and say like JavaScript or PHP is also, oh, well, wow, really? And then go down to like the Python, I definitely think that you're not really that green, okay? So if you want to be more green and you want to make sure that your computers worldwide, they use less power, which means less pollution, well, then you basically need to skip using Python. You cannot stick to the high-end languages anymore. You need to go back to proper programming languages that actually does things the right way. Now, this also introduces a big learning curve, okay? So that really big learning curve kind of says that people need to go back to thinking in compute levels. That is actually a really difficult task to do for many people these days. I did actually grow up in the C era. So I started coding in ANSI C, then assembler, then C++, and so on. But many students these days, they don't learn these kind of things anymore. They don't learn about normal computational stuff, normal computer terminologies, and all the kind of things that are kind of still there, but you don't really think too much about it, because developers these days need to develop, earn money, do more stuff, and just continue and then spin the wheel. That's what they do. Many of those short IT educations, that is their problem. So just putting that out on the table, I'm gonna say those small educations actually hold the biggest issue. They do teach people in high-end programming languages, sometimes through electives or whatever stuff, because it's something like spicy you can put on. Now I just want to say, nothing wrong with learning a programming language, that's really good. But if you want to be more green, if you want to make sure that there is less pollution in the world, one way of trying to attack that issue is to choose a less high-end programming language. Basically meaning you need to develop your own technical competence to understand C and C++, or even Java, again, to do really good stuff. Now, this is the energy consumption. Through time, the results are similar to energy expenditure. The faster a programming language is, the less energy expands. So you can see, like, the faster it is, C and C++ are really fast. It is kind of the same. Python still is down below, And the reason that I'm attacking Python that much is because it is one of the most popular programming languages these days. And I'm going to tell you why. Python is really popular because it is easy to get things done in. Researchers can use Python. They can use R programming. I know R is not mentioned in this list. It should be, probably, but it is not. But Python is really easy to get things done in. It is just one of those languages that, that kind of get stuff done really fast. So you can be a not that technical programmer, not that technical person, and still do stuff. That is the thing. So not talking about security at all in this video, just talking about green programming. So if you're gonna be green, don't choose Python. Once more time. Also, in terms of memory consumption, we see how Java has become one of the most memory consuming languages, along with JavaScript. So I'm gonna scroll down here again. You see that stuff like C+ or C are still within the top, and Pascal, you can see the Pascal in this particular part here. It is kind of ranked okay in the top, so it's not that bad. And also in the energy consumption, it is also really good. So Pascal for energy, Pascal for time, and Pascal for memory, that's really good. But still, C is leading because it is just the best language in the world. That's just a thing, People may not like it, but that's because they're probably not that technical and do not really understand how memory works, which is also a thing when you're a programmer. You should definitely understand how memory works. You know, we're gonna go down here. You can see that Java is now really bad compared to before, and Python is now in the middle. But that's the only place Python is really good compared to the other tables, because Python is actually programmed in C. So why not just do C programming, right? So I'm gonna talk about the conclusion. So conclusion must be, if you listen to this article, it says, although the study may seem curious and without much practical application, it may help design better and more efficient programming language, although we can use this new parameter in our equation when choosing a programming language. Sure, they say like, fine, you know, it's really good, we can use it for something. Now, what I would like to say about all this, and let's just go back to the image here. If you think it is important to use less power, which also means lowering your electricity bill, which also means less tear and wear on your hardware, so you're also lowering some sort of, you know, factory production line there in a certain way, but you know, it's far out, but you know, you're helping it. You know, if you want to do that, you know, and you still want to, you know, make sure that there's less pollution, definitely you should go up the ladder and choose a programming language that is at least within the top 5, top 6, top 7, top 8, doesn't really matter. But you know, the general idea, if you just stick to the bottom one, say I want to stick to Python all the way, well then you are in the worst position ever. Okay, so the conclusion is really just, if you want to do that, you know, you can do it. So what is my own opinion about this? I never say my personal opinion, but what is my opinion about this? Well, my opinion about all this is that it's a difficult question to answer, because I find myself in the role of cybersecurity, and this is what I do, this is what I burn for, and this is what I want to do in the future, and probably what I want to do for the rest of my life. So cybersecurity is just a thing, you know, where Python is used, and you could probably argue that, you know, just running a script written in Python or something like that for 5 minutes cannot really be compared to having 500,000 web pages, you know, programmed in Python using some Django framework or whatever they call it these days. You know, that's not really comparable. So I would say in the area of, you know, cybersecurity, you know, I would say yeah, because when you're testing cybersecurity, you're testing quality of some software or server, and that should be done good enough, so you're not being hacked. If you're getting hacked, it means basically using more money, contributing to probably factory stuff, generating more stuff at factories. You know, I would say like going down that ladder is probably a big extreme, but I would say cybersecurity, stick using Python, and for the rest of all you guys, you know, using Java is probably a really good idea, because Java is one of the more mature languages out there where you can use templating engine for web pages. They have Java Spring, you know, for framework, the whole Spring Boot framework for web development, stuff like that. So really, if you want to be that guy, you know, choose Java and go down that road. If you want to be on security, you know, stick to whatever tools you have, because it is kind of difficult to do, you know, a good assessment using a tool that's not written in C++ or C. And generally in cybersecurity, we're not really programmers, right? We're more like testers. We need to understand all the non-functional stuff and how to break it and stuff like that. So I want to say, I really enjoy making this video, because it's one of those niche areas, how to be more green. Okay, so do you want to be green?